Greetings, salutations, respect, and love. I am Scott, and you, my dear friends, have wandered onto the #1 prog rock channel on YouTube, according to me, and that's all that matters, right? Today on the channel, boys and girls, oh man, I've been wanting to do this one for a while, and we're doing the top 25 guitar solos in the history of prog rock. These are just kind of my favorites. I know we're going to be missing a whole bunch of people. Right at the top of this episode, I'm going to say I'm sorry to quite a few guitar players who are not on here. Steve Morse, how did he not make the list? Alan Morse didn't make the list either. Gary Green didn't make the list. And I apologize to all the great jazz fusion artists out there. There's no John McLaughlin or Al Di Meola or Larry Carlton or, any of those guys, Lee Rittenauer, all those great jazz players not on here. And what about all the prog metal guys, man? I apologize to Tosin Abasi from Animals as leaders. Both dudes from Haken, Richard and Charlie. Both dudes from Garage, Christian and Joe. Paul from A Cynic. And also Paul from Between the Buried and Me. Isan from Norway. Adam Jones from Tool. Michael Ackerfeld, of course, from Opeth. Buckethead. Kiko from Angra. And Megadeth too, right? Devin Townsend. Brent Hines from Mastodon. I am just not qualified to really rank and talk about prog metal guitarists all that much. We're keeping it primarily here, capital P prog, but there is going to be one prog metal guitarist on this list, and you can probably guess who that is already. At number 25, man, from 1971, Mick Box. Uriah Heep and his solo on Salisbury, probably the proggiest track they ever did, and Mick Box still in the band, still making great music with Uriah Heep, but his solo on Salisbury is just awesome. What an underrated guitar player he is. At number 24, we're going to Sweden and Roine Stolt, and I'm going with his guitar solo on Go West Judas off their debut album from 1995, Back in the World of Adventures. Solo cuts in pretty early in the song, like right around the 3-minute mark. It shows Roine at his technical best. He's always all about that feel and that tone, but here he shows he can shred like nobody's business. At number 23, yeah, I said this was going to be a prog list, but I'm going to include Jimmy Page on here, man. Achilles' Last Stand. I almost went with Stairway to Heaven. I mean, it's a solo everybody knows. It's a great solo, but I just think this one's more interesting. I love it. It starts at like the 4-minute mark, 1976. I love Presence. I think it's a super underrated album from them. And Jimmy Page is awesome. At number 22, how about another old timer, Robin Trower? Yeah, he rips a solo on A Christmas Camel off of their debut album from 1967. It's just fantastic. Yeah, he was with Procol Harum early on, and then he broke off to do all those great solo albums of Bridge of Sighs and all that stuff. But Robin Trower on the list. He deserves it, and he's there at number 21. Another marginal guy. We're going to get them out of the way early, I guess. It's Brian May. Is he prog? Is Queen prog? I don't know. I don't care. But man, his solo on Bohemian Rhapsody is fantastic. But I'm not going that route, man. Could have gone with Killer Queen. All that cool guitar work on there. But I'm going with It's Late. The guitar solo kicks in at like the 3:30 mark, and it just is everything you want from Brian May, everything that made him and makes him such an amazing player right there on display. And the fact that It's Late is probably my favorite Queen song doesn't hurt any at number 20. This feels a little low. Steve Rothery at number 20. That's a disgrace. I'm fired. If I could fire myself, I would. I'm going with Neverland off the marvelous 2004 album Marbles. That was the album that got me back into Marillion after years in the wilderness. I wasn't happy when they switched over to H at all, but I was wrong. I was dead wrong. The H albums are fantastic, and Marbles is just genius. And the solo Steve rips at like the 2:30 mark. The feel, the taste, the tone. He's just, man, Steve Rothery, just awesome. At number 19, here's another one that feels extremely low. It's Paul Gilbert and his solo on The Door from Neil Morse's Solo Scriptura. See, Neil is so smart. He can play guitar. He's a great guitar player. But he knows every now and then you need something just that next level, man. That's why he brought Eric Gillette into the Neil Morse band. And that's why before he had that, he would bring in guys like Paul Balotowicz or Steve Hackett, other guitar players to try to, get a little pyrotechnic excitement going, and Paul Gilbert delivers the goods. Man, Sola Scriptura, what a great album. At number 18, another one that feels just incredibly low, and it's breaking my heart to put Martin Barr at number 18. So many great solos to choose from, but I'm going with Black Satin Dancer off of Minstrel in the Gallery, their 8th album. And I could have gone so many different ways with Martin. Just such an amazing guitar player. To me, he is every bit as important to the Jethro Tull sound as Ian, but what can you do? We don't have him to kick around anymore. At number 17, it's Mike Holmes from IQ. And I'm going with the Magic Roundabout off their 2nd album, The Wake, which came out in 1985. But man, this cat's got so many great solos. He's got such great feel. I love his tone. I like the way he attacks the instrument. I love the way he can blend into a song, but he can also soar above it when he needs to. And the Magic Roundabout was the first thing I ever heard by IQ. Very first song I ever heard by those guys. So yeah, it's got a special place in my heart. At number 16, yeah, I'm putting Dave Gregory on this list, and I'm not going with a big train solo, which he had so many good ones on Underfall Yard and the 2 English Electric albums, and Folklore and Grimspound and Grand Tour. Man, Dave Gregory, just unbelievable. But I'm picking an XTC track, his very first album with XTC. Their 3rd album from 1979 was Drums and Wires, and he lays down such a sweet solo on the song Reel by Reel. Yeah, it's a short solo. It's XTC. He didn't get, 32 bars to show off. He had exactly 4 measures to show what he was made of, and prove that Andy Partridge made the right choice, replacing a keyboard player with a second guitar player. Who did that in 1979? Andy Partridge did that too. At number 15, an artist that I kind of don't talk about a whole bunch on this channel, and I'm kind of making amends a little bit here today. It's Jeff Beck. Oh, yeah. I was going to put Beck's Bolero on there, and then I remember, wait a second, that's Jimmy Page, right? So I'm going with Freeway Jam off of Blow by Blow. 1975, boy, oh boy, man. Blow by Blow in 75 and then Wired in 76, man. I listened to those 2 records like nonstop. Jeff Beck, I said I wasn't going to do a jazz fusion guy, but Jeff Beck is more than a jazz fusion guy. Jeff Beck is Jeff Beck, man. And his guitar playing, just second to none, just amazing. At number 14, it's Elliot Randall. Oh, man, I have to put Reelin' in the Years on here. 1972. Steely Dan's debut album, Can't Buy a Thrill. And, of course, that amazing guitar solo in Reelin' in the Years has to be on the list. But, incidentally, there's another song on that debut album I was looking at. What is it? Dennis Diaz's electric sitar solo in Do It Again almost made the list. But I'm talking about guitar solos, not electric sitar solos. Whatever. Number 13. Here's another one that should he be on the list? Should he not? Are they prog? Are they not prog? Well, Richie Blackmore definitely needs to be on this list. We're talking about great guitar solos, and Richie Blackmore sure knew his way around the fretboard. What song to pick? I'm going with Child in Time. Off of In Rock, their 4th album overall. They're first with that Mark II lineup of Richie, Ian Gillan, Roger Glover, Ian Pace, and the late great John Lord. Wow, what a band. That Mark II, Deep Purple, just amazing. And Richie Blackmore's solo on Child in Time, forget about it. At number 12, one of the most underrated guitar players of all time, it's Jan Akkerman, the dude from Focus, the Dutch Nightmare. This guy was doing sweeps and legato, and he's doing all this crazy technique stuff way back in 1971. Check out those live videos of Hocus Pocus, man. and he's just all over it, man. Jan Ackerman, what a guitar god. And yeah, I figured Hocus Pocus is the best way to represent his genius. At number 11, I'm going with Greg Lake. Why is a bass player on here? Well, Greg Lake is either the best guitar playing bass player of all time or the best bass playing guitar player of all time. I am not sure. I'm spotlighting Carnival 9, his solo in The First Impression, but I could have gone with Tarkus. He played a lot of guitar leads, throughout their career. But, he and Robert Fripp had the same guitar teacher. So obviously that cat knew how to teach young dudes how to play. Wow. If you've got two of your students are Greg Lake and Robert Fripp, dude, you did something right. You ate your Wheaties that day, man. At number 10, we're going north of the border, and Alex Lifeson demands some attention. Absolutely, he does. Another cat that definitely doesn't get enough credit for being an amazing, amazing player. And that's what happens when you got Geddy Lee and Neil Peart in your band. You're probably going to be the forgotten member, but unnecessarily so, and I am spotlighting La Via Strangiato. The whole thing is just a showcase of Alex's greatness. Yeah, I just absolutely adore Hemispheres, 1978. And La Via Strangiato, probably the best showcase for his talents that I've heard. At number 9, I had two songs that actually appeared on both this list and the top keyboard solos of all time. And this is one of them at number 9. It's regret number 9, and it's Guthrie Govan. Yeah, man. That Adam Holtzman keyboard solo that sets it up, and then Guthrie just goes insane. Yeah, I could have picked a lot of different solos from this cat, absolutely. And I almost went with the Nad Sylvain track, What Have You Done, from 2017, off his debut solo album, The Bride Said No. Oh my goodness, man. Guthrie Govan and Steve Hackett trading guitar licks while you've got the rhythm section of Tony Levin and Don Perry. Oh, man. Check out Nad Sylvain's first solo album, The Bride Said No, and check that out. But I am going with regret number 9. At number 9. Hey, at number 8. I said I was going to include one prog metal guitar player, and it had to be John Petrucci. Of course, it's John Petrucci. You guys know how I feel about prog metal. It's not my favorite subgenre, but I will always make an exception for Dream Theater 100% of the time. And the song I'm spotlighting, the solo I'm spotlighting, is off of Voices, a song off their third album, Awake. I'm not going to timestamp it. Just listen to the whole song. It's just incredible. You know how much I love Dream Theater, and you should too. At number 7, yeah, Frank Zappa's got to make his presence felt. And how do you pick a solo from Frank Zappa, man? I mean, hundreds to choose from. So I'm just going with the one that kind of gets me going, the one that gets my blood running and whatnot. And it's Anchor Roads from 1975's One Size Fits All. Yeah, maybe that's the third track, because I did talk about Ruth Underwood and her marimba playing on this track. But yeah, Frank Zappa. I could have gone with so many different tracks. It's not even funny. Zappa was a genius, absolutely. Speaking of geniuses, at number 6, I've got Robert Fripp. And yeah, I was thinking about some of those Vandergraaf Generator tracks he was on, or of course that huge discography of King Crimson, Starless, and Fracture come to mind, but I'm going with something a little different here. I'm going with the Babies on Fire off of Brian Eno's debut album from 1974. Here Come the Warm Jets. Oh, what a cool solo, man. Fripp just was thinking about stuff in a different way that nobody else was thinking about music. He and Eno, just such a perfect match anyway. But Babies on Fire, that solo is so cool. I love it. At number 5. It's Alan Holdsworth. Oh, man, forget about it, Alan Holdsworth. I went back and I listened to Soft Machine Bundles last night in preparation for this, because I was going to take Nevermore off the list, because we had that as one of our top keyboard solos for Eddie Jobson last week. But I can't do it, man. I got to stick with Nevermore off of the debut UK album from 1978. Just incredible. I'd never heard anybody play guitar like Alan Holdsworth before. He completely blew my mind the first time I heard him in 1978. And Yeah. He deserves to be in the top 5. At number 4, can we guess who the 4 guitar players are that top this list? I bet you can. At number 4, it's Andy Latimer. Of course, it's Andy Latimer, the great leader of Camel. So many amazing solos I could have picked from. I had like a short list of like 10 different songs I was going through, and then I realized there's only one we need to talk about today, and it's Ice. Oh, yeah, it's Ice, man. This came from their 7th album, I Can See Your House From Here. A little different lineup here for this album, and I dig it, especially this song. It totally works, where you've got Kit Watkins in the band and Jan Shellhouse and Colin Bass. Just an amazing track. Andy's guitar tone, his sense of timing, the way he can emote on that thing is just amazing. I'd say it's second to none, but I got him at 4th on the list. So clearly there's 3 guys I like better, or 3 solos I like better. At number 3, let's talk about Steve Howe. Oh, man, where am I going here? Well, I could have done the first 3 minutes of Close to the Edge. Absolutely. Awaken. Couple great solos there. Gates of Delirium. He's just on fire. But Roundabout, what a great solo that is. I'm going with Starship Trooper because it's the one he had practiced and rehearsed. Even before he joined the band, he was playing this solo with a band called Bodast and a original version of Starship Trooper, at least that worm section. So he's got it perfected, and it is just one of the great highlight moments in the history of prog when Steve just breaks out that solo at the end of the worm section. Just incredible. You know what I'm talking about. At number 2. I bet you can guess what the top 2 songs are too. At number 2, I'm going with Steve Hackett, Fifth of Firth. It has to be Fifth of Firth. Yeah, I could have gone a couple different ways. I almost went with his lead in The Knife off of 1973's Genesis Live. He took what Anthony Phillips did on Trespass and just took it to the nth level. Just incredible. Could have gone with a solo on the Supernatural Amethyst. If I can't say it, it's off of The Lamb. But no, Fifth of Firth is the one. Off of Selling England, 1973. It's just perfection. I mean, his phrasing, his ability to sustain notes, his ability to just blend in with everything that's going on, create swells of emotion. He's Steve Hackett, man. He's my favorite guitar player of all time. And at number 1, the greatest guitar solo in the history of prog. You know what it is. It's Comfortably Numb. David Gilmour. There's 2 solos. 2 main solos in the song. They're both amazing. I prefer the second solo, but whatever, man. It's just legendary stuff. It doesn't get any better than David Gilmour. His ability to command and control a guitar and play just so few notes and make it sound so amazing, man. You know, Yngwie Malmsteen would play like 20 notes a second, and I don't remember not one thing he's playing. David Gilmour plays like 1 note in 20 seconds, and I remember every single nuance, every single little vibrato bend, man, just the absolute master. I remember reading an article with David where he was talking about putting together his solos and whatnot, and how he would practice like a guitar solo for like weeks before he would actually record it. And it shows. I mean, this is just not accidental that David Gilmour creates the guitar magic that he does. Yeah, he's thinking on a whole different level than you and I. Anyway, that's it, man. That's my top 25 prog rock guitar solos of all time. Next up, what are we doing here? Friday, noon Eastern. Yeah, Friday at noon Eastern is Prog Radio's The Prog Corner playlist, where they play all the stuff that I've been talking about here all week. So I guess we'll see if he plays any Osmond Brothers Friday. That'll be interesting. And then Sunday at 1 o'clock Eastern, we're doing our Sunday Prog stream. And like we do every Sunday, and this Sunday, we are focusing on, and we are going to rank our top 10 favorite album openers. So many to choose from. It's going to be an awesome, awesome episode. So I'll see you guys then. Anyway, peace in the Middle East, free Tibet, and God save King Chucky, save King Charles III. That boy's got cancer and he needs your thoughts and prayers. Yes, he does. Thoughts and prayers for the king. Save him, save King Chucky. I'll see you punks soon.